What's up, everybody? Happy Wednesday. Hope all you had a great day today. I really was on the fence about whether or not I was going to do a review for this episode because I don't really do centric type episodes. I don't like to review them. When it's about one person or one thing, I typically don't like to review those. Because this whole episode basically was about the Corinthos family. It was basically about Mike and his last days, basically, because he's nearing the end. But I will say I enjoyed certain parts of this episode. I will say that Michael and Willow, I actually did like those scenes because I think even Michael was kind of surprised by the support that he was getting a little bit from Willow, because he knows that him and Willow got married for other reasons other than love, other than, it was all for Wiley. So for her to stand by his side and comfort him the way that a real wife would do, I think he was, flattered by that, surprised by it, because he knows that this isn't what she signed up for. Like, she signed up to help him win custody and be kind of a surrogate stepmother, to Wiley. But she's definitely stepped up as a real wife. You know what I mean? Even though that's not really what this was supposed to be about. But, she's taking these vows very seriously, obviously. And I'm not mad at it because, in my opinion, Willow is a breath of fresh air. And I think it's good that the family has her around because she brings this calmness. You know what I mean? She's like a very calming kind of person. It's like drinking chamomile tea. You know what I'm saying? It's very calming, very soothing. And that's who Willow is. She's calming. She's soothing. She's a good person to lean on. She's a good person to just vent to because she'll listen. She'll try to give you the best advice that she can. And I think that was good. And I think Michael needed it. Jocelyn obviously needed to hear it because, Jocelyn was wondering basically where Mike was going to end up after he passed. Like, some people wonder, like, when you die, where exactly do you go when you die? So basically Willow was just telling, Jocelyn that, Mike will be in a better place. He's going to go to a way better place. But, Willow was basically telling Jocelyn that when she felt her father's presence when she gave birth to original Wiley. And, Jocelyn, of course, was talking about Oscar and how she felt his presence and, but she wishes that there were more signs or whatever. I mean, everybody's going to have a tough time with this because, and that's the emotional core to this episode. The storyline, because a lot of us can relate to the storyline. Even if what's going on with Mike isn't exactly how our family members dealt with Alzheimer's, but I think, quite a few of us have dealt with a relative or know somebody who had a relative that had Alzheimer's. Because like I said, my great grandmother, passed away due to Alzheimer's. She was 96 years old and she lived a very long life. But after they put her in that nursing home, that's when her health really took a turn for the worse. And, prior to that, when she was living in her actual home, she had memory problems, of course, due to Alzheimer's. She had, she would forget things. Like, she would have a cup of tea, because she always made tea every day. And she had tea on the stove, and she would forget that she already was in the process of making tea, and she'd be like, oh, I need to make me some tea. And we would remind her that the tea is already, being made. And then right after she would have her tea, she would be like, oh, I need some tea. You know what I mean? Forgetting that she just had a cup. She would forget things. And I remember one night, it was very scary. We got a phone call that she left out of her building in the middle of the night. She was literally walking out the front door. And that was such a scary phone call to get. And I thank God, that they caught her before she left completely out of the building and wandered the streets in the middle of the night, because that's just, no. Mm-mm. So it's really hard, you know what I mean? And after that night, when she almost wandered into the street and stuff in the middle of the night, that's when my great aunts and, the rest of the family made the decision to put her in, a nursing home somewhere permanent with staff and all that stuff because they felt, they were better equipped, obviously, to take care of her than the family could. And, it was sad because I literally watched her deteriorate after she moved out of her home. So I think we all can relate in a way to this storyline. Even though the storyline is not going on, as realistically as some people would hope. But I felt like, the actors knocked it out the park. Max Gail has been killing it as Mike. I give total credit, total props to him, to Maurice Benard. They've all just been, handling their business with this storyline, and I give kudos to them. Even if the storyline is not totally realistic to what we've known Alzheimer's to be, we've had people that experienced it, and this might not be totally realistic to it, but I like the approach that they took with it. I really do, and I think they hit a home run with it. I will say they did a better job with it than Y&R has done with theirs. My only gripe about it is that they are dragging Mike's death completely out. They're just totally dragging it. It's like, how many times can people come up and say goodbye? And, they've already done that because Aunt Stella was basically telling Sonny how he needs, Mike is just waiting for permission to go. But if I remember correctly, didn't Sonny already recently tell Mike, you don't have to hang on for me and stuff like that? He recently basically gave Mike the okay to go ahead. So it seems like that's what they're doing with it again. That Sonny basically has to give Mike permission again to just let go when they've already done that. So Stella, I love the fact that Stella too is there because, Sonny has all this support around him. He got Jason, he got Carly, he got Stella, he got Michael, Jocelyn. He has a great support system there for him. But even with all that support that he has from his family and his friends, it still doesn't make this easy, saying goodbye to your father. You know what I mean? And we all know the history that Sonny has had with Mike. He's always been angry and resentful at Mike for a very long time for leaving him when he was a child. You know what I mean? And it took Sonny so long to come around. It took him so long to forgive Mike and to, even be comfortable enough around him to laugh with him, to really open up to him. It took a long time for that to happen. And just as they were getting close and stuff, now, you have this issue. Him, with Alzheimer's. And, Sonny is just having a hard time, just letting his dad go. And I don't blame him because who wouldn't? When it comes to a loved one, it's not easy to say goodbye. But for me, I don't ever see it as saying goodbye. I see it as saying, I'll see you later. Because when we lose relatives, we lose loved ones, trust me, you're going to see them later. You might not think you will, but believe me, you will. When y'all both go to the other side, you will see that person later. Trust me when I tell you. So anyway, Brando, he arrived. He wanted to pay his respects to Mike, and he said that he remembered the time when Mike visited him and stuff like that. And it was nice that, Sonny, he called in Father Reyes to do Mike's last rites. And, Jason visited Mike and basically told him it's okay to let go, that, Jason will be there for Sonny. And, Sonny basically went in there and told Mike, it's okay for him to leave. And I know that was hard, for Sonny to do. And like I said, it was great that Stella was there. She basically told Sonny that the morphine was the right thing to do for Mike. So that way, they want to make him as comfortable as humanly possible so he doesn't feel any pain. But she feels like, it was time to, for Mike to let go. You know what I mean? Like, they're just prolonging it at this point. But I know some people are disappointed because this would have been a great setup for Mike to just pass on right now. But again, he still has not passed on yet. So they're kind of dragging it for a minute. I don't know why, but I think the episodes are pretty well done. The emotions are definitely there. Everybody's playing their position. Everybody's playing their part. Of course, Sonny's missing some children. Of course, Morgan. Dante, of course. Christina. which sucks because I really think it would have been great to have Dante back to say goodbye to Mike. I thought it would be perfect to have Christina. But again, you can't have everything, so we got to make do with what we do have. But I still think that this was pretty well done. You know, I think it was pretty well done. And it's going to be sad when Mike actually does pass. I think it's going to be very sad. You know, Sonny's trying to do his best to hold it together and, you know, be there for his dad and stuff and, you know, keep it together. But I know it's not easy for him. You know, it wouldn't be easy for any of us. You know what I mean? This is not easy stuff. But the good thing is they're making Mike as comfortable as humanly possible. So that way he doesn't feel any pain. But again, this was a pretty solid episode. Hit the comment section. Let me know what you all thought about it. And I will see you all later. Hope all you have a great night. See you all tomorrow. Peace.